It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
My God, I can't believe it's already noon, Steph.
I can't believe it either. I can't believe it's already the week before ISE. Like,
it used to be a thing where we had to get ready and we were ready 2 minutes for a broadcast. Now, like today, Carrie counted down from 4, 4, 3.
Yeah.
We have 4 seconds to get ready. And I was in the middle of pulling up the nominations for Best Picture. And at the top of the nominations for Best Picture this year is Top Gun from Tom Cruise. Can you believe that they actually gave an action big blockbuster movie a nomination for the first time in 25 years?
I mean, I can believe it, but I don't think it'll win. So
of course it won't. They're going to pick some esoteric movie that no one's actually seen yet, and that is so important to everyone in Hollywood that we got to go see it. So important that we're going to give it the Academy Award. A black and white movie where they didn't even talk.
I'm just kind of tired of Oscar bait movies, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm really tired of movies that are about the glitz and glamour of Hollywood and what it can be. What was the movie that
La La Land?
Yes.
That was it.
I mean, it's so beautiful to look at. I love the choreography. I love how pretty it is. But the story, I was not Hollywood making a movie about Hollywood. Okay. Are you
So I've only walked out of my life on 3 movies, and that's one of the 3. I literally left the movie this is terrible.
I can appreciate it for what it is. I've watched it and just enjoyed the beauty of the scenery and stuff. Yeah. I felt the same way. I went and saw Avatar too last night.
You should probably tell everybody what this is, by the way. I want to hear your observations of Avatar. But this is our weekly TV show, rAVe TV. It's the industry's only live TV show that comes on every single week, Wednesday at noon Eastern time. Starting next week, we will be coming to you almost every single day. We're going to be coming to you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday live from the show floor at ISE. So if you're willing to get up in the middle of the night, you can see us. Otherwise, we will rebroadcast it later during the day as well. I'm not sure exactly what time. Maybe Carrie can tell us what time it's going to be. Noon. And we're going to rebroadcast every day at noon on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're going to be live on the show floor. So you can see it live if you want to, like I said, get up in the middle of the night, or if you're in Europe. But we're going to rebroadcast it at noon Eastern. That's going to include interviews with live interviews with people on the show floor. Steph and I are going to do live show floor tours.
Yep.
And then we're also going to do product reviews while we're doing this. So it'll still be a 30-minute show approximately. So we're excited about all this. But yes, you went and saw that 3.5-hour piece of garbage called Avatar: Way of Water. What did you think?
Okay. I so get why you don't like it. Okay. I understand. I understand that this is just fan fiction come to life. You know what I mean? It's very Wattpad, Blue People, love story, anti-imperialism message. I get it. But it was very beautiful. Kirsten and I went and saw it last night because this movie theater does $5 Tuesdays. We went and saw it in 3D in Dolby with an Axis screen, and it was so fun. It was so much fun. So
seeing it in IMAX can be great, but let me ask you something. In what alternative reality do you live in where nobody seems to think that connecting body parts together from a human, so-called blue human, to a animal should not be considered slightly unusual? I mean, that's basically what they're doing. And by the way, connecting it also to trees
don't say it.
I think in a normal world that's considered sort of weird.
You just kind of have to take a step out of that and just watch it for what it is, if we start getting really nitpicky, one of the blue people called one of the avatars called one of the just human people, she called him Chicken Boy, and I said, now why does she know what a chicken is? She ain't ever lived on Earth where there's just chickens. They don't have chickens.
They might have pink chickens.
They don't have that.
I love that pink sweater. That shows up really well. And it matches. It's the same color family as the microphone.
Thank you. You know, cool. rAVe purple, like purple has and is just kind of seeped into my life. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's like, you know, gonna change the, like, it just didn't alter my brain chemistry or anything, but like I had a good time.
Well, the other real quickly before we get on to other things, the other Best Picture nominees are Women Talking, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin, there's the problem, they'll probably get it, Triangle of Sadness, the Fable, they're going to give it to the Fablemans because that's Steven Spielberg's story about Steven Spielberg, and of course, you know, that's going to get it. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, your movie, Elvis is another one that should get it. That was incredible. And then Tar. But in any case, you know, it is what it is. But look, you know, we're heading to ISE. We already mentioned we're going to ISE next week. And well, actually, so instead of me setting this up, let's just play this, because I think this promo, we've been playing around with ways to promo our coverage of the show. And I just recorded this. We're going to actually do some better treatment of this before it goes on to social media, but we're giving a sneak preview to our rAVe TV viewers, who will be the first in the world to see the world premiere of this. So go ahead and let's play it. Everyone, this is Gary Kay from the rAVe Agency. And I know you've heard a lot recently about ChatGPT. It's been all over the news. It's this AI platform online that you can use to write copy for you. Students are using it to write essays. Copywriters are using it to write social posts, and the list goes on and on. I mean, you know, students in school and K through 12 schools are using it to cheat. But we thought it would be fun to plug in some data into into ChatGPT and see what the outcome would be. So what we decided to do was tell it to make an ad, write us some copy in the voice of Darth Vader. So we said, give us copy in the voice of Darth Vader, promoting rAVe Pub's content at ISE, and also tell a joke and give a shout out to the planner of the show, Mike Blackman. So this is what came back. So this is in the voice of Darth Vader. So I'm going to do this for you. So this what I'm about to read was completely written automatically by ChatGPT. All right, ready? I'm going to do my best Darth Vader imitation, okay? Attention, all who crave power and technology. I, Darth Vader, bring you. So you have to actually go to social media in the next couple hours and you'll see this full video. But the crazy thing, Steph, there's been all this news about ChatGPT. I forwarded an article about ChatGPT to everyone in the company back in December, the week that it debuted. And I was like, this could possibly change everything. And everyone's talking about it. And of course, we have students that have actually turned in papers here at UNC using it and been caught for plagiarism. But in any case, we thought it would be kind of cool to plug in that data. Now, what's cool, Steph, you don't know this, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you do know this. But we also told it the same thing. We said, do Boba Fett, too.
Yeah,
and we also did Yoda, right? We was like, okay, now make an ad in Yoda's voice. Do an ad in Boba Fett's voice. And again, the only prompts we gave it was, it's all about ISE. It's about our coverage at ISE. Send a shout out to Mike Blackman and tell a joke. That entire thing, all that content, everything you're going to see me write, everything you see me read, I didn't write. Nobody else wrote in our company. It literally came from ChatGPT, and it's pretty cool. It wasn't 100% accurate, but it was cool. And I wrote it how it was written, so you can see how it's written. And of course, I did a bad job imitating Darth Vader, but it was kind of fun to do, just to see sort of the impact of something like that in the very emerging. Yeah. It reminds me a lot. The hype of this reminds me a lot of everybody all of a sudden getting Netscape CDs mailed to them or floppy disks mailed to them back in 1995, when everybody's like, there's this thing called the internet. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of that hype where all of a sudden it just kind of exploded in a month and everyone was jumping on. So it's kind of cool.
That is cool. And I'm kind of scared of it. I'm kind of scared of like this kind of thing. 'Cause I'm like, what? It thinks it can write better than me? No,
but it will definitely have some great. I mean, look at AI in our industry.
Yeah,
we can people count people with a robot basically in the background. It can record meetings by just saying record. It can find conversations in meetings by just telling it to find conversations in meetings without having to do the searching yourself. It's time efficiency, performance trade-off thing. So you're going to get lower performance, better time efficiency. And then that trade-off is sort of going in between the two. So I think there's a great, we're living through an amazing world. I'm sad I'm not going to be alive 50 years now to see what it's like, because it's just amazing where we've come.
Yeah. Well, Scott Tyner made a really great point that it can also write code for you. So, like, if you tell it to write code for a certain program, it can do it. And he's
people are writing Quest run code with ChatGPT. Yeah, it's. And by the way, one other thing I want to tell, I want to say sneak preview. I'm trying to think the right word. Apple's going into the home control market. That's all I'm going to say, in a big way. Not just with Apple TVs. It's kind of
right.
Cool. We'll talk about that later on this year. So anyway, we are going to be at ISE. You can see our coverage at ravepubs.com/ISE. We have our microsite already up. It's in stage 1, which is pre-show. Stage 2 is live. So when we go to the show starting Tuesday, the microsite will look different than it looks like today, because it's all going to be about our live content. And then, of course, after the show, it'll be about the videos we shot. We'll probably shoot over 1,000 videos. But on February 15th at 2 p.m., CET time, which is European time. And then we will replay it at noon. Sorry, what time are we replaying it? What are we doing? What time are we replaying that? I want to get that right. 2 Eastern. So 2 European time and 2 Eastern time. We're going to have replay ISE, where we go and we will curate the best coverage of ISE. And Steph, we want people to register for that. So if you scan that QR code, you can register, and we're doing freebies and giveaways and stuff like that worth the registration. Yeah, it'll be really fun. So if you can't go to ISE and you just kind of want a chance to see some of the best products that are there, what the show floor looks like, basically we're giving you the ISE experience the best we can on the internet. So if that is something you are interested in, please register. We would love to see you there. So Gary and I are very grateful for the sponsors and partners we have that make this show possible. And one of those partners is obviously Legrand. We've talked about them a lot. One of the best glue companies in AV. And we have a guest from Legrand today, Beth Peterson.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing, Beth?
I'm doing wonderful. You can see the snow. I'm ready to not be in the snow. I'm looking forward to next week.
Can you raise those windows? Can we look at that snow, because we're getting rain? We're getting here. Can we see what snow looks like? We know snow.
So you can't really see it, but the snowbank is probably 10 feet high back there.
That's snow. That's not just snow. So you're gonna get to ISE? You're gonna be able to fly out? Are you gonna be able to fly to ISE with all that snow?
Oh yeah, we're professionals here in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's not like North Carolina, Gary, where the entire state shuts down. We have 2 inches.
And by the way, Beth, she saw my Darth Vader thing. She got a chance to see the Darth Vader thing I just did. And she just showed me something behind the scenes that we got to show everyone else. Beth, are we allowed to show everyone else, or can we not?
Yeah, sure. So Legrand AV, product marketing for all the AVD brands. And one new shirt that the C2G team came up with is this one. I find your lack of connectivity disturbing. But then my favorite.
Put her up on the big screen with that.
Is the back.
Put her up on the big screen with that. Hold on. We're going to put you up on the big screen. Go back. There you go.
Oh, there she is.
Look at that. I find your lack of connectivity. That is awesome. And look at the back. The saying on the back, that's classic. Come see the dock side, because they make USB-C docks for computers and laptops and things like that. Beth, tell me what else can we expect from ISE? I know Steph, one of the questions she wrote here is, what's Legrand going to be showing us at ISE, specifically the C2G brand?
Oh, it's a lot. Okay, so along with the docking stations, like all of the docking stations will be there, but also a lot of solutions from C2G for just active connectivity conference room solutions. So the conference room hub will be there. We'll also have HD-based extension. So a big focus for kind of all the brands of Legrand is talking about our active connectivity story this year. And so we're kind of kicking that off at ISE, talking about all things active connectivity. But, all the brands will be at ISE. So we also have some great new things from the Chief brand. So you'll see the Voyager cart, which I think is like the sexiest new cart out there. It's awesome. You'll see it in black and white. So that's going to be there. We'll also have the tiled solutions, the on-wall kiosk, which has been a real big. So Chief had quite an impressive Q4 last year and like just pumping out new products. Like there were 4 brand new products that came out just at the end of the year last year that weren't at InfoComm. So I'm excited to have people get their hands on those products at ISE. And so then we also have MAP, Mid-Atlantic, and we have the Forum Collaboration Suite being shown at there. We have the new tables, the collaboration table. So a lot of the collaboration furniture. And then, gosh, let's see here. We've got the Daylight, the Sightline. So we showed off the Sightline at InfoComm, but we also have new features in Sightline with extended cable drop. So if you haven't seen a demo of the Sightline, we'll have a few of those.
And by the way, Sightline is the screen that drops without a black area. You drop it with aircraft grade cable to hold it steady, but also it kind of makes the screen almost look like it's hovering, which is a really cool effect.
Yes. And so instead of having to measure how much black drop you need in an install, this makes it so easy to order. You don't have to factor in that black drop. So it just makes ordering and specifying a screen so much simpler. And it's been a really successful product in 2022. So we're just going to keep building on that. Let's see here. We've got Vadio is going to be showing as well with a few new products. So we've got the IntelliShot M was launched at InfoComm, and we have a new Microsoft certified camera being debuted at ISE as well. And then also a new AV Bridge product. So the AV Bridge Nano will be shown at ISE.
That's a really cool product. Yeah.
Little streaming AV Bridge. Let's see here. What else do I have? Did I cover everyone? So C2G, MAP, Daylight, Vadio, Chief. We're excited to see everyone. And
we're excited to be back in person. We're actually going to start one of our daily rAVe TV shows right there, right near your booth. So we'll be hanging out there a little bit during the show. Hopefully we'll see you, and we'll have a chance on my tour of the show floor. I'll definitely walk right through the Legrand booth because it's always one of my favorites. I like a booth that has 5 or 6 different brands in it because you get to see a little bit of everything. And by the way, for those of you who think of Mid-Atlantic as a rack company, you should take a look at the furniture because that's a great opportunity for you to enter a new segment of the market if you're not there. Offering furniture specifically designed for collaboration, I think is really cool. So Beth, congratulations on all this.
Yeah, building off of, Legrand has so many brands, and we've been able to utilize other divisions of Legrand, like the focal point with the acoustic, the felt wrap around that Forum Collaboration Suite that has the noise dampening features on there. So we've really been able to come out with some really cool products because Legrand is so big. But I didn't mention Luxel. So Luxel is also
networking.
Of course. Networking, right? A whole bunch of new switches will be debuted at ISE for the Luxel brand. So,
and by the way, the Luxel thing has always been a mystery to me because I'll say when I'm at the Legrand booth at ISE or InfoComm, how come y'all aren't pushing Luxel? Oh, hold on. Shh, that's a home AV brand. I'm glad to see Luxel now as a commercial AV brand as well. And I'm glad to see it out in the forefront because with AV over IP, everyone's using networks for everything now. So there's a huge opportunity for a brand to come from inside of our industry doing networking. So I'm glad to see that is going to be a forefront of your messaging.
Luxel is the backbone of the EasyIP ecosystem that Vadio is building on. We'll be showing new audio products in the EasyIP ecosystem from Vadio at ISE. So Luxel is the heart of EasyIP, right? It's the network. So really proud of the brand. Excited to show off new products.
Awesome. Oh, is Gary frozen? I think he might be.
He's looking
frozen for you guys. Okay. Well, Beth, thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you at the show.
Yes. We'll see you there.
Of course. And don't forget, you can scan the QR code, and it has the big list from Legrand of all of the products that they are showing at the show. So if you want to get a little more information on each one, all you have to do is scan that QR code, and it will take you right to it. So I wanted to briefly talk about a news story that we put up on our site. So this is one that Gary really wanted to talk about, but I think we're waiting on him to leave and come back. Technology. We work in it, and it really does not always work on our side. So Brompton Technology actually enabled this sustainable virtual production for Impossible Objects, which is a studio and world building lab. I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's very, very cool. So just look at that picture. It's such a cool virtual production. There's Gary.
Hey,
you're back.
Listen, you want to know what happened? We're a Microsoft campus here at UNC. And apparently Microsoft is having some kind of global issue with everything. And we got a message on about 2 hours ago here at the campus. apparently everything Microsoft has is down, and we're a Microsoft campus, and somehow I disappeared. So I apologize. I'm back now.
No, it's okay.
I went and joined the old-fashioned way, not through the corporate network here at the UNC. I'm joining through my phone's network. So
sometimes it just really is like that. And I think that like we've both gotten good at just being like, oh, someone dropped off. We're just gonna move on.
What happened to Beth? Where'd she go?
Oh,
did she finish answering my question?
Yes,
she did.
Finished answering your question.
Okay. Well,
yes.
Beth, you gotta send me. I'm a large. Okay, send me a t-shirt. That t-shirt is awesome. I love that shirt. So very few shirts in my industry that I appreciate. That one is great.
Yes, I love a creative shirt design. Like that's something that I think, like, I'm not to toot our own horn, but rAVe is really good at that. And honestly, Legrand's really great at that. There are a few other brands that I'm like, they're good about it. But
one thing we're going to see a lot of at ISE is, we'll talk about this on the first day of the show, but there's going to be somewhere between 8 and 10 virtual sets, VR, XR sets, full sets on the show floor, not just like partial sets. And like we've seen at Infocom. And I wrote up a story about a case study that I actually showed my class in 137, the advertising principles class, because I was showing them how production can be done now completely virtually. And Impossible Objects worked. It's a studio in Southern California. Worked with a brand new car company. Is it Polaris? I forget the car. I wrote about it a few days ago. And they actually did an entire commercial that you watch the commercial, and it looks like the thing was shot in city streets and on cliffs and things like that. And the thing is totally done in an XR stage. They never left the stage. The car never left the stage. It looks like it's driving through the street. It looks like it's driving. It is amazing, and it shows the power of what's going on with XR, and it also gives you a brief glimpse of how this article gives you a brief glimpse of how this can be used in live events as well. So go scan that QR code or go to ravepubs.com right now, and all you have to do is search Impossible Objects. Impossible Objects is the studio, and you'll find that. And by the way, if you do go to ravepubs.com, we haven't made a big deal about this stuff, but we have an all new website that we spent 2 years developing with a lot of input from our customers and our readers. It's completely new. The microsite design is completely new for trade shows.
Yes,
everything is new, and it's quite different. We've only opened up about 60% of the site. There's some other stuff happening in the back end of our site that's kind of cool. But we wanted to do a kind of a soft launch, and our team has done a phenomenal job. I know everyone in the company is just relieved that it's finally a project that's actually coming to fruition, because we've been working on it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, there probably isn't anyone in the company who hasn't like helped with this project in at least some way.
Involved. Yeah. In fact, we just launched a new app. We are the only news company in the entire AV industry that has a 6th generation app. This is we're on generation 6. We've had the app for almost 10 years now. If you go to the Apple App Store, download rAVe News. It's called rAVe News. So search it by rAVe News. You'll have a portable app. As we post videos from the show, we put them right there on the app. You can actually see the ISE microsite and all of our news right there on the app. And we're also part of the Apple News network now. You can go to Apple News. If you use the Apple News app, you can actually add rAVe Pubs as one of your sources. But anyway, I know we got to talk about some of our other sponsors, and we have another guest coming up. Who's the next sponsor?
So our other sponsor that we're very grateful for is Aver Pro AV. You might know Aver. They've been around for a long time, but they're really looking to strengthen its Pro AV division. So check out this video about the MD330. So here is our other guest of the day. Chris Gillespie has been a writer, freelancer here at rAVe since before I was here full time. Chris has been in the industry in so many
longer
forms
than I
and
care to
fashions.
admit.
Yeah, like you've pretty much worked in like every facet of our industry, so you always have a really, really good like perspective on things. And I know you typically write about collaboration, like kind of more from an end user perspective, and that's very clear in your most recent piece that you wrote for us called "We Are Doing It All Wrong." So you had some hot takes in there. So first of all, tell me a little bit more about what it is that we are doing wrong.
You know, what's been interesting, and I had a partial epiphany around this when I was working at Intuit a couple of years ago, where, we were talking about the conference room of the future and whatever the heck that is.
Yeah.
And as we started to talk about it, we kind of then started breaking things down and going, all right, well, we need to first of all understand how we meet. Okay, well, who's we? Because, within an organization, you're going to have 10, 20, 30, 100 different subgroups that all have different culture, whether it's the type of work they're doing, whether it's, a different company. At Intuit, we were kind of two different companies. We were TurboTax and we were QuickBooks. So there was these different ways of doing things. Now, obviously, with what's happened over the pandemic, where all of a sudden every conference room in the world was rendered useless. AV went away for 18 months, which was a scary thought for those of us ingrained in the industry.
Right.
But we still kept meeting. And so it really just kind of made me think that, like, we're thinking so much about the conference room when we do stuff, but really we need to be thinking about the conference experience, because, like, I'm working from home right now and I have 2 sick kids and a German Shepherd. So I've got to be present in this environment, but still able to collaborate. If we start rolling out interactive whiteboards through all our conference rooms, great. But what do I do at home? How do we ensure that all these different people are able to be fully present in meetings and fully able to do things? Because there's the big pivots that we've seen of, everything going to more video. And for a lot of enterprises, we were already doing tons of video before the pandemic anyways. We've shifted that paradigm a little bit from what used to be like, 70% of the people being in the office and 30% remote to 10% being in the office and 90% being remote. Yeah. So when we're thinking about this, it also opens up new opportunities for both relationships and revenues, because when we at enterprises are looking for solutions, we're like, okay, we need a whiteboard, but it's more about the software than the hardware. And we kind of have to go out and we have to test Mural and Miro and Prism and Bluescape and all the other different ones out there and try and figure out which one works. Whereas there's this huge opportunity for integrators to become specialists in collaboration. Specialists in, new buzzword is asynchronous work. And how can we use all these tools? Microsoft's come up with Microsoft Loop, which is just incredible for what it does, and all these other things. We need to think about that broader thing, and it allows for a much stronger relationship and completely opens up even more sales channels. Just before I left the Gap, we were working on building out a innovation conference room, which was going to be constantly trying out new technologies, new things to see what works better in conference rooms. But the other half of this room was going to be 3 different workstations set up with a Logitech dock or with Jupyter's Pana 34, or I could go on down the list. Right. We need to present solutions, not just for in the conference room, but for all those remote workers as well. And find ways to ensure that everyone is just working better together, because at its heart, collaboration is about allowing people to work better together.
Yeah. What are some first steps that we can take to start framing this around, like, who's working and how are they doing it?
The first thing is making sure that when we, like when I would talk with integrators, phone conversations, video conversations are great, but come in, see how we do things, see what my conference rooms look like, see why because fundamentally we're all using the same technology, the same, we've got a TV in there, we've got a camera, speakers, mic, but it's how we meet, and it's understanding stuff. I was at the Gap for a little while there before they unfortunately eliminated my position. And we had fitting rooms where we had to set up systems so that people could see how clothes fit individual people. Yeah. Which brought up a totally different paradigm where we loved the neat boards and we had tons of those, but we couldn't use it there because the camera up high gave a parallax and it threw off what the person at the other end saw. So we were putting neat bars underneath the monitor because that put the camera at about belly button level, which gave you even top to bottom. So that's just one of those things. And getting into and understanding how that enterprise works is kind of the first step. And recognizing that while they may not need, because like we had 500 conference rooms, there wasn't a single piece of Extron or Crestron or Kramer in any of those rooms. It's all totally different stuff that literally we could assemble ourselves. But the expertise that's needed in understanding how to make better use of the whiteboard technology, or just all of the stuff that goes into better meeting experiences as opposed to just a better conference room. Flip that thinking, and that's the first step.
Right. Well, we're just kind of also living in like a really weird time, kind of like you mentioned earlier. Like we're looking at the conference room of the future. We're all kind of trying to figure out where AV is going to live in terms of like how the economy is going and everything. So like, where do you think our industry is going? Because it's we can all really guess, but it really just seems like we're kind of floundering around and just like trying to gain a better foothold.
Well, we're all, you know, when we look at what a conference room was 10, 15 years ago, it was $60,000 and there was tons of electronics and programming and all sorts of different things. And that is not how it is anymore. You know, like I was saying, with, you know, 500 conference rooms and not a single piece of gear from the majors. You know, our problems were now, you know, and just like when we were talking to Legrand, you know, all the C2G stuff, and we're in a world of USB. We're not in a world of HDMI nearly as much. Yes, we've got some big rooms that need that stuff. We need to embrace some of those other manufacturers, you know, because the solutions providers, you know, who would have ever thought 25 years ago that Logitech would become one of the biggest providers within the AV industry for conference rooms? You know, and we've got new companies coming up. I recently discovered a company called Inageni, which, you know, they're doing all this really super cool USB connectivity stuff, which is what people need because you're having to do stuff that the computer was never really intended to do. So just recognizing that shift to that different world and remembering that the conference room is just one of the participants, excuse me, sorry, in the meeting experience.
Right.
Everyone, you know, so within integrators, there typically people fall into, sales engineer, salesperson, design engineer. You need to start having product category specialists. You know, this person is a pro on digital whiteboarding, and they can come in and they can show you how to better use your Zoom whiteboard, even though you're a Zoom shop already, or whatever it is you're using. Because it's not just here's the solution, see you later. You know, the ability to be, you know, when I was at Prism, we had customer relationship managers who were responsible for customer satisfaction and continuing to meet with them. That needs to become a bigger push with the integrators as part of the overall service you're providing, because you're not providing equipment, you're providing services.
Fair. Yeah, I think we're going to continue seeing like more service-focused AV in the future. That's definitely going to be something that I think Gary's going to write about in his case crystal ball for the next year. But last question for you, Chris, is how can people connect with you if they want to talk more about it?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on, of course, rAVe with the articles we post up there. And yeah, just reach out anytime. Christopher Gillespie is my name, and I love to chat with anybody and get other takes on stuff, because, you know, I've got an opinion that I think is reasonably well balanced from a lot of different viewpoints, but love to hear people tell me that I'm full of garbage and have a conversation about it. So
sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining on rAVe TV today, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye. All right, let's bring Gary back on.
I don't know if you know this, Steph, but Chris and I used to work together at Extron. So
really?
I know Chris really well. You know what I like about Chris? Chris, like me, will tell it like it is. He's not going to like sugarcoat it, and he's not going to say. And I think, you know, he has a different perspective now on the other side. So when he came to work for us at Extron, we hired him because he had an interesting perspective, because he knew the rental staging market really well, but he also understood the install market really well. And he, you know, he's just a guy that kind of could do a lot of everything. He's even better now because he now has been on the end user side, which is the side that's the hardest. Like, it's interesting. I always find it interesting when I'm sitting around in a meeting, or I'm in one of these panel discussions where I hear manufacturers talk about how customers are going to use their product. And a lot of times it's not actually used that way. It's actually not like the vision is to use it this way, but in reality, they're not going to use it this way. Like an example of that is the collaboration board.
Yeah.
Customers really don't want to hang those things up. They really don't want collaboration boards mounted. And if they do, it's always mounted as a second board, not the primary display. A lot of people really want collaboration boards to be able to be moved around, or it's a second display on the other side of the room. But hardly any collaboration companies really promote it that way, and they don't think of it that way. They're thinking about it as the primary display. They're putting cameras on it and assuming you're going to use it as the front of room display.
Right.
In reality, it's not a real good front of room display. And Steph, you're a living example of that. You're only I don't know how you told me one time.
5'3".
5'3". An 84-inch front of room display, you're not going to be able to touch the top 2/3 of it if it's mounted high enough for everyone to see. So, I think that Chris is sort of a magical employee for any company. And I think they're lucky to have him now because he knows the end user side, the integrator side, the live event side, and the manufacturer side. So anyway, I'm glad you had him on as a guest, and I love him writing.
Yeah, of course. Yep. So last sponsor and partner of the day we're going to talk about is Shure. The reason we sound so good on these broadcasts is because of Shure. We are very great. Gary and I are very grateful for our MV7s. But we wanted to show you guys what Shure is going to have cooking up for ISE 2023. Of course, they are going to be there. They're going to be showing a lot of things. I did a booth tour at Shure's booth last year, and Abby wanted to kill me because it took 20 minutes because Shure has so much
Shoot
to
for
show.
21.
Yes, Shure has so much to show at every single show. So they're going to be showing the Microflex ecosystem, the MXA 920 ceiling array microphone, which you should be very familiar with if you work in AV and in conference rooms, this entire STEM ecosystem, the Uniplex, the AD600 with a wideband spectrum scanning and monitoring. Of course, the Intellimix room with the Crestron XIO cloud platform, and there's going to be so much more. So definitely, if you're going to ISE, don't skip out on checking out Shure because there's so much to see for virtually everything that you could possibly need audio for. So,
hey Steph, I'm going to do the next story, and then I'm going to get off because I have a meeting to go to.
Yeah,
I want you to finish up. But I want to talk about this next story really quick, and that is that Crestron is now selling Netgear products. I think
crazy.
This is interesting. I don't even know how to respond to this. I mean, more power to them. Obviously, Crestron has made a very clear announcement that we are going network everything. So therefore, having a partnership with Netgear is brilliant because now they in-house have that capability of having, look, if anything's happened, use Netgear and you won't have any problems. I mean, and Netgear is a leader in our industry. I just think it's interesting. What it does signal, and what I'll write about in my case crystal ball, is a market increase and new way of looking at partnerships. Like before, companies would say we're working together, and they're really not. All they're really doing is like providing a product for someone. This is an example of them really having an integrated partnership, and it'll be interesting to follow and see how that goes. And if you want to read that full story, you can now buy Netgear from Crestron, and also how this is going to play out. Go to ravepubs.com. So I'm going to let Steph finish for the day. Yes. And I got to join my meeting, Steph. I apologize.
All right. No, go on and join your meeting. You're a busy guy. So, he only owns a company, Anyway, so we want to tell you guys also about Launch Week 7. It's coming up March 6th through 9th. So we are going to come back from ISE and immediately hit the ground running with preparing for that. But it's going to be 12:30 to 3 each day, Eastern time, of course. And I wanted to quickly highlight UCC Day, which is going to be the first day, March 6th. We are going to have really great sessions this day. One all about conferencing audio. I am so excited about this one because I feel like audio is something that I can talk about and I'm really confident about and I'm really good at asking questions about. So I'm really excited about this. We're going to have a session on achieving a true collaboration standard. Standards in AV are always a hot topic, whether they exist, whether they don't. So this is going to be a great session as well. Gary's going to lead a session just general on like updates in the UCC world, which there are going to be a few, and he's going to reference a lot of the things that he is going to predict in his case crystal ball. So you definitely don't want to miss it. Scan the QR code and it'll take you straight to the registration page. And we hope to see you there for that day and the rest of them. And one more thing, don't forget that you can get CTSRUs 2.5 for each day you join. So if you join for all 4 days, that is 10 CTSRUs. So don't want to miss it. And final thing I'm going to bring up, ISE did announce who the final keynote speaker was going to be, which is really exciting. It's Stephen Nuttall. So he's going to deliver that last one, and he is all about the America's Cup. And it's going to take place in Barcelona in October 2024. So he's the sailing race's head of television. So I'm really looking forward to see what he talks about and how this is going to integrate with the technology that we're going to be focusing on at ISE. So it's going to be really exciting. And to see the rest of that story, of course, you can scan the QR code there as well. Finally, hope to see you guys at ISE. If you are, trying to make a game time decision and get your ticket today and get a plane ticket and show up over there, I won't blame you. And you can scan that QR code and use our code rAVe Europe, and it'll at least get you a free show floor pass. So I'm sure flights are kind of expensive by now, but you can at least go to the show for free. So and we're going to be doing rAVe TV each day from the show floor, as we said, and broadcasting it both European time and Eastern time at noon. So we are excited to show you guys everything that we're checking out January 31st to February 3rd. And that is our show. Had it run a little bit longer today just because we wanted to let you guys know about everything that we are preparing for next week. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. This has been rAVe TV. I'm Steph Beckett. The guy who left a few minutes ago was Gary Kay. And we'll see you next week.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.